Okay, so what I'm going to show you now is how you can look at the different reports when a group of people has already taken the assessment. So what you see here is a group of people. Some of them have already completed, some are still yet to start. And some of them are still in progress, as you can see when it's in yellow. Then what in progress means people have started the assessment but have not yet completed the assessment. So what you will see when someone has completed the assessment and the status is green, you will see that the button at the right hand side has changed from remind to report. If you click this button, you will be able to see the individual report. It's the same report that the individual receives when the assessment is completed. At the top of the screen, you see group report. A group report includes all the results of all the people in this list that have completed the assessment. So I'm going to show you both reports, but I'm going to start with the individual report, in this case of Dennis. So I click the report button and you see that a report is generated. The individual report is consisting of various elements. So in the top you see the score of Dennis for his current role, which is the project manager role. But next to that you see 5 other roles that Dennis is scoring best. You see Dennis has very high scores, but even if someone would have lower scores, you would still see the top 5 best matches for that individual, even if the best match could only be a match of maybe 20% instead of 90%. When you scroll down, you see this spider chart popping up on the right hand side, which is pre-selected at his current role of project manager. So you see that Dennis is already a very strong project manager, because if you look at the chart, the dark blue line representing the benchmark score and the light blue line representing Dennis, his individual score, you see he's already on the benchmark for 4 out of 5 of the competencies which are key for a project manager. These charts are interactive, so you can click and unclick to make ads pop up or disappear. So in this case, you see that Dennis, for the role of project manager, still has a gap at business change management level 3. But Dennis may actually look at his suggestions up here and say, well, maybe from project manager, I want to change to become a product owner. In that case, in this drop-down, Dennis can select over 30 pre-selected benchmark job roles. So I just changed him from project manager to product owner, and you see that the chart has updated. So his biggest gap for product owner is actually relationship management level 4, and he's almost there but not fully there on innovating level 4. So if Dennis now says, okay, what should I do in order to become the perfect product owner? Then the tool actually provides suggestions for Dennis to do. So when you scroll down, you see 2 columns of suggested development journeys that Dennis can follow. And you will see, in this case, the left-hand side is based on his competency gap. So his biggest gap was on relationship management level 4. And here there are suggestions of certifications that Dennis can consider in order to move from 90% to a higher percentage of his score. But Dennis is already quite good as a product owner, and he may actually want to broaden his horizon. So on the right-hand side, you see certifications that can broaden Dennis as a professional. So this is basically the section of people like you also like this, in order to widen the scope for his personal development. So when Dennis has reviewed this, he can click on this button to find more details about a specific certification. So you will see that there are certifications from different providers. So already in this screen right now, you can see 4 different providers of certifications. If Dennis wants to go one level deeper into his scores, he can look at his scores, individual scores per competency. So in this case, we have categorized the competencies in the 5 groupings that are recognized in the European competency framework by plan, build, run, enable, and manage. And Dennis can see one by one what his score was. And if he's not sure what is meant by a certain competency description, he can click the title and he's taken to a different screen which gives a brief explanation about what this competency is and what is expected of a professional with this competency fully developed. So in this case, provides leadership for the construction and implementation of long-term innovative information system solutions. So this is the report that Dennis has, and he can revisit this report at any convenient time as he wishes. So this is the individual report. But now I'm going to show you maybe the more powerful report even for you as a consultant, which is the group report. So I went back to the list of invited professionals and I click the button up here called Group Report. So you can already see, now my page has loaded, that the top of the screen looks slightly different than before. For argument's sake and clarity, I will select a similar job role as we just had. We looked at the product owner. So you can filter by department and you can filter by job role. Right, so if I look at a group of people and I say I want to evaluate whether a certain group of people is right for a certain job role, I can slice and dice the way that I want. So in this case, you see I've selected product owner. So maybe the sales department is not necessarily very appropriate there. So I remove the sales department and I only look at the remaining departments. So you see that we have a similar spider chart as before, but still quite different. So we have an additional color line here, and also the blue line is slightly different in interpretation. Also, this chart is interactive, so you can click and unclick different lines that you think are most useful. So in this case, the light blue line provides you the average score of the people in your selected groups. So if I look at this score of 60%, that means that the average score of the people in this group is 60%. But you also see the orange line, and the orange line is the maximum. So even though the average of this group is 60%, there is actually one or more individuals that are fully competent on the UX level 4 competency in this case. So this is quite useful information because you may want to use these people to join teams where user experience is critical, or you may want to use these people to onboard new colleagues that also need to be trained, in this case, in user experience. So, but you want to know who that is, right? What we can do if we scroll down here is we can actually drill down into this assessment group. So we just looked at user experience where we had a score of 60%, so that's a gap of 40%. And you see that the best scorers for this, again, you have the same section of suggested certifications based on the gap, but also people with this job title usually also develop themselves in section. And you're looking at all the different competencies and you will see the average score as well as the maximum score. And So this analysis allows you, and they're categorized from best to worst actually. So you can see that there are competencies in this group which are on average not well developed, 25% in this case, but there is a maximum of 100%. So there is competency available within this group of people, but on average it's quite low. And then you can take measures as a consultant or as a leader of an organization to see whether this is acceptable or whether this needs treatment. That's what the group report looks like. If you have a question of whether you can create customized job roles to analyze, either in the individual report or in the group report, the answer is yes, and I'm going to show you that in the next section.